YouTube. So this video today, I'm going to have a chat with you about tight customers that basically want us to work for nothing. I've been dealing with one at the moment, and I will explain as we get going along. And it's one of them that sometimes you've got to stand your ground. And this is the thing, you've just got to stand your ground. It's one of them as well that part of me feels like just telling this customer, look, don't bother. But then it's one of them where it's a good lesson for all of us. We've just got to stand the ground. There's people out there that just want us to work for nothing. Quite often there's people actually that would be happy if we said, you know what, your garden's just that much of a good place, I will do your property for nothing. If anything, I will pay you a visit price just to be on your garden. I think that's what people want. Literally, that's the impression I get. Bit of an over exaggeration, but that is the impression I get sometimes with people. As I said as well, this video, it's not to bash people or to bash this customer. It's it's a story. It's something that happens, you know, within my sort of gardening journey, and I just think it's interesting. It just shows what people are like, and I'll go through a bit of the outcome at the end. So you will know that I put a poll up, and I also put a video up, I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, whenever this goes out, of a big grass cut that I did. We could both agree that there was a lot of grass, a lot of work there. And also, we can also agree, we need to look at the facts here, that it's a nice property and presumably a nice village, town. As I said, I try not to show the properties too much, that, you know, I'm trying not to give away people's identities here, anything like that. But I want to sort of show you the facts. But you can see by the surroundings that it's a nice property in a nice area. Now, we're not making assumptions that this lady's well off. We don't do that. We go off facts. So Joy is the lady that lives at the house. She's an OAP, and she's got a friend called Jane. I've changed the names for obvious reasons, but it's easier to give them names opposed to, you know, the person that lives at the house, whatever. Now, Jane is the one that I try and deal with the most. Jane is a lady that basically is, I don't know the arrangement, I think it's friends, but from the more that Jane's told me, I don't know if it is friends or, you know, she just feels like she has to help her. I don't know. I don't think there's any blood relation or any relation at all, actually. I think that's just what it is. Joy's the lady that lives at the house. So, try and do this in sort of timeline. Joy had been let down by her previous gardeners. Now, this is another thing, part of this video as well, is you can never trust what people say. You've got to go off. There is truth in what people say, but you can never trust fully. So Joy had said that the previous gardeners had let her down, that they basically had kept promising and saying, I'll turn up, you know, I'll come do it, I'll come do it. They never did, and now she can't get hold of them. Is that true? Who knows? I will guess, I will give a sort of, I'll have a go at sort of giving you an idea on what I think really has gone on as we get going towards the end, but I want to sort of give it out in facts and also in the timeline. So Jane rung me up to go and quote. That's where I got that story off Joy on why the grass is so long. I didn't rush the job, as in turnaround. I think from quoting to job completion was about a week, because Joy had said it was getting it down and stuff. Also, there was weather constraints. I wanted to get it done as soon as possible. Didn't want it to get wet or any longer. Fine. Joy, the price I gave her was in between £300 and £400. Oddly enough, this video, it isn't about, you know, she's not come out and said I've ripped her off or anything, called her work shit. It's just, as I said, highlighting what people can be like when it comes to money, and wanting you to work for nothing, or very little, not nothing, I was a bit exaggerating there, but very little, or not what we're actually worth. So that's fine. She had quotes off other gardeners. Another gardening company was, I think it was 300 or a little bit more than 300, I can't remember exactly. They provided a quote, but they never did it. They rung her up to tell her they can't do it. I think from a conversation with Jane, she had a quote off another company who just didn't even provide a quote. They come and looked at it, didn't get back to her. That's fair enough, I suppose. Now, I did the work, she was happy with that, and the arrangement was that I'll go and do a follow-up cut the following week, because it was one of them where it was that point where the grass had started kicking off around our area. Everybody's garden was just, you know, taking off, and I gave her a maintenance price after that visit of £80 a fortnight. Now, I think that's fair for the work that's involved. I don't really need to tell you why, you know, I gave a fixed price, but she has asked for an hourly, but I'll get onto that in a little bit. But I gave her a fixed price of £80. So obviously, if that grass grows like fuck, it's on me to deal with it. If it is that it grows normal, it's only going to be £80. There's going to be no variance. She agreed that price, said that's fine. So I had a phone call off Jane, and Jane basically, poor lamb, she's on her holidays, and she says, Joy's been on at me saying that the price you've given, she wants to know what your hourly rate is. I'm thinking, hey up, and I just explained to Jane. We had a good chat, and I says to her, look, I don't charge an hourly rate. And she ended up telling me, she says, Luke, she says, I think your price is fantastic. Her son thinks the price is reasonable. She says other people she's told all thinks the price is fine. It's just that if she can save money, she will, or she can get you to knock money off, she will. She says she's a Yorkshire woman through and through. This is what Jane says. She says don't worry about the bill. She can pay it. She can afford it. It's just that if she can get it cheaper, she will. So obviously that sort of, you know, that's the one thing that winds me up, is people, you know, trying to knock prices down, trying to get it, you know, trying to get you worth what you are, you know, less of what you are worth. So I said, okay, I said, that's no problem. I said, look, I was very upfront with you. I gave you the fixed price. I said, it does stand. Now, Jane wasn't ringing up to get me to knock the price down, by the way. She was just basically pulsating Joy. Joy had told her to call me to find out the hourly price. She's got her answer. The garden doesn't charge one. It's a fixed price. It will be £80. And like you said, I can imagine where the conversation is going. Now, this is the thing. I think it's hard graft, and it's one of them where it probably takes me a couple of hours. So I did it again today, and it took me about an hour and a half. And again, the price is £80. Now, I did a community poll, and it surprised me actually. I think it's ended up where it's like 42% and then 40%, and then people are either side. So I did it in £25 increments. So the top one, I think, as of posting this video, people thought that price, what people would be charging for that lawn would be between, I think the winner is 75 to not the winner, but you know what I mean. The most common answer, I think, is either the 50 to 75, and then the next most common one is 75 to 100. But there's like 2%, so it's like, I think it's like one person, you know, is either or other. So basically, what I'm surmising from that is the majority of us are going to be between 50 to 75 or 75 to 100. And I reckon the majority of us is going to be the higher end of 75, if not 75, 70, 75, 65, 60, whatever, or 75, 80, 85, 90, 100. Now, I went in at £80. Now, I don't normally talk about money or earnings, because I don't think it's one of them where I don't think it benefits. But then actually from doing this poll, I've realised that actually my prices are pretty on par with what other people, to a degree. There'll always be people that are, some people would be 80, some people might be 70, some people might be 60. One commenter did say he'd be at £60. Some people might be more than 80, 85, 90, 100. This is the thing. When I do pricing, I always try and price. You can't price to the worst case scenario every single time, but you do try and price for these little extras. So every time there's been a little extra. So one time it was because you put a little bit of weed killer down. Today she wanted a load of clippings removing from somewhere. So like I said, there is little bits of stuff priced in with that, but by and large I stand by the £80 for a maintenance price on that lawn. It's one of them where today I bagged it all, and it took me about an hour and a half. So of course we did the work. Now let's just break it down. I think £80 for an hour and a half of graft, and there's 25 minutes of travel time to the site and back from the site. So all in all, that's probably taking just under 3 hours. So let's just call it 2.5 hours. So 25 minutes, hour and a half. So it's about 2.5 hours of my day. And I think £80 divided into that, I'm happy with that earnings, and that's how I try to look at it. There'll always be people that have, but I think whoever's going to be saying it's too cheap or too expensive, there's only going to be probably max 20 quid either way. So as I said, I do stand by that price. Now the customer actually told me that the previous gardeners used to charge her 60 quid to do the lawn. So automatically we're not far off at all, realistically. And I explained this to Jane on the telephone, that basically we're not far off in price at all. If anything, I think I'm doing her a good turn by charging her that, because for 20 quid more she's getting a gardener that's not let her down yet and will turn up and does the little bit of other stuff for her, and doesn't take the piss, as in he's never going to not turn up. So like I said, swings and roundabouts. So after this visit today, after that phone call with Jane, basically did the visit. Joy was asking about the hedge, saying that the hedges need cutting at some point. I did walk around, and to be fair, there is quite a lot of hedges as well. You've seen it on the videos, so a price will be put in for that. And how I see it is, so price will be put in for that. I don't mind that at all. It's going to be, I reckon there's probably a full day of cutting plus waste, so it's going to be a decent chunk. Not ridiculous, but a decent chunk. So we did the work, and she's basically paid. Now I did record the conversation. I won't post it on here because it's, we're trying to learn. We're trying to not exploit people, but you know what I mean. I'll surmise the conversation. So we had a chat. First question was, do you think? I think basically she sat down and said, I think £80 for what you've done today is too much. I said, okay. She says, do you think £80 for what you've done is a reasonable price? I says, yes. Like, what else would I say? She says, you've been here an hour today. I says, well, it's a bit more than an hour and a half, but anyway. She said, I just think £80 is too much. I says, for one, the £80 isn't all mine. I says, there is other costs associated. There's costs running the business. I says, alternatively, I says, next time I come, I says, bit of behind the scenes, the grass is still very much dormant up there at the moment. It is growing. I've noticed there's more grass coming through, and it is picking up growth. So if anything, that lawn is gonna I think it's gonna take me longer every time. But anyway, I did explain this to her. I says, you want a fixed price? I says, if it is that I come next time and it's a hell of a lot longer, it takes me a hell of a lot longer, I says the price is still going to be £80. Well, I would pay you more if you were here longer next time. I says, but it's a fixed price. I says, and she says, well, she said, I just think it's too much. I said, and this is the thing, I stuck by my gun. I'm thinking, I'm not being knocked down, I'm not being questioned on the price. Like I said, I've turned up, I've done the best job I can for it. I'm not, you know, backing down and saying, actually, you know, I was only here an hour and a half. I tell you what, I'll knock you 20 quid off, whatever. You know, I'm not doing it. I've done that in the past, and it just gets you shit on, because you'll do it the next time, you'll do it the next time. Another thing as well, it gets in your head. It'll get you where you're thinking, oh wow. It'll get you where you start thinking about hourly and thinking, oh well, if I charge a 60, that's like, what's like, you know, £40, £30 an hour. I'd be all right on that. I'd be all right doing the 60, even though it's taking 2.5 hours. And you'll start you'll start convincing yourself other way and tricking yourself into it. I'm thinking, I'm not doing it. So I stood by my ground. I says, it's £80 every fortnight. I says, it is on a fixed price. I said, she says, well, I says, do you want me to come in 2 weeks? She says, well, yeah, come until I tell you to stop, tell you any different. I says, well, okay. I said, that's no problem. I said, it will be £80 next time. Now, what I didn't mention, I forgot to mention, is at the start of the visit, she was, do you think it needs cutting? She was trying to get me to sort of, even though I turned up, she's trying to get it where it's delayed. Could you come next week instead, when the grass has picked up a little bit more growth? Like I said, she's trying to delay it. So anyway, I'm sticking to my guns on it. So as I was leaving, Jane dropped me a phone call just to see how it had gone on, and I had a chat with her, and I told her the conversation that had gone on. Like I said, keeping it very professional. Jane's not my friend, Jane's Joy's friend. You know, I'm not, you know, going to sit up and have a say, oh, she's done this today, she's done that. You keep it professional. But I just explained what had gone on. I explained to her that she was quibbling a bit at the start about the grass, and she thinks it could be left longer in between cuts. She also quibbled the price, as I imagined she would. And Jane had just said, Luke, she said, stick to your guns. She says, bill of the £80. She also did say to me that, did she tell you that she'd had another quote? So this lady, and I've got this feeling that this is how we're going to part ways, and it's annoying. So let me know what you would do in this situation. Joy's had another quote from another gardening company to come and sort the garden out. Now Jane hasn't told me what that means. I think it's the weeding, but there's not much weeding to do per se up there. It's one of them where there is weeds, but the majority of them, you know, to be fair, it's just what's coming from under the hedge, so it just needs trimming back. I don't know whether there used to be borders, and I've got a feeling they're including the hedges and the shrubs in with that. I don't know. Jane didn't go into detail with it. Joy had just told her that she'd had this quote for the gardening, to get the garden back up to standard. Don't know what that entails, whether it's the lawn. I don't think it's the lawn. I think it's the weeding, and I'm hoping it's the shrubs and the hedges. But anyway, she's had a quote for 642 quid to get the garden back up to scratch. Now, if you've seen the video, you'll see the hedges and the shrubs. I think even for me, if I was pricing up the hedges and the shrubs on that property, and, you know, doing the weeding and stuff, which, to be fair, like I said, there's not much of it. I don't think there's £642 worth of work there. I could be wrong, and I'm not knocking that quote. Again, the point I'm illustrating is that she's had quotes from other gardeners, and this is the thing, she's had quotes from other gardeners and they've been similar, or more expensive, or if they've been cheaper, they've not turned up. And this is the thing, this is the point of the video, this is what really winds me up, is that, you know, you go out and you try it out, people, and so like I said, she is getting a quote. I've got a feeling she's going to be having a quote off another gardener, and I reckon at some point she will find a cheaper gardener to do the lawn. I'm adamant on it. So let me know what you would do. Would you give it a push now before she gives me the push? How I see it is at the moment, it's work. It's at the moment in time, it's a nice job. It's a nice little straightforward grass cut. Okay, it's a hard hour and a half of graft, or 2 hours. I reckon at worst it's 2 hours, but by and large it's a nice straightforward job. It's just attached with somebody who wants you to work for nothing. If I dropped every single customer that tries to quibble on the price, I would have half the customer base, because they'll all do it. They all try, you know, they all want to put away a bit for the rainy day, whatever, and they'll all do it. So as I said, I'm not dropping one just for the sake of this. I have got a feeling that she, as I said, my money is on, she will find somebody cheaper, definitely. She will find another bloke. She's now saying that the previous couple that used to work for her, maybe this is the true one, I don't know, and I can see why they haven't come back. It was a couple and they were charging £50 for 2 hours of work. The husband used to do the grass and the wife partner used to do the shrubs. So they were both on £25 for 2 hours, so they were on £12.50 an hour, and they were using their tools to look after that property. And I just think to myself, no wonder they left. This is the thing, no wonder they left, no wonder they stopped coming, no wonder they jacked it, because they've probably got a big property where they know that they're not making much money on it. They can't be. £12.50 each with your own kit, and this was last year. This isn't 5 year ago price, this was last year. And they've got a lady that, if she can, she will change the visits, change the frequency of the visits. So I can see why, and this is what I'm saying, never ever trust people as to what they say. I will be back in 2 weeks. I will do the grass again. It's one of them where, you know, I try and stick to my word as best as I can. How it is at the moment is, it sounds horrible, but everybody else thinks the price is fair except for this lady who just wants it cheaper. I don't think she thinks I'm ripping her off. She just wants it cheaper. This is the thing. So let me know what you would do in this situation. Would you give her the push now? And, you know, just ring her up and say, Luke, don't want to work for you anymore, I can't, whatever. And then you'd just be somebody else that's let her down. You'd just be somebody else that's, you know, oh, he stopped coming because I questioned his price, whatever. Or do you just ride it out? For me, I will be turning up every 2 weeks to do the grass, quoted at £80 a cut. If it is that it starts altering, if it is that it starts changing, then obviously that's when I'll put my foot down. So basically, if she starts, oh, it doesn't need doing this week, if, you know, well, that's when I'll say, you know, that's when it'll be changed. That's when, you know, we'll start looking at getting rid. But at the moment, I'm happy to carry on. Like I said, this Jane lady seems nice, she seems approachable, and she's trying to sort of, you know, sort everything out. Also, as I said, I have got that impression, and I will update you if it does come up. I've got an impression, or sorry, I've got a feeling, a strong feeling that she will replace me. She will find somebody cheaper. She's having quotes from other gardeners, as he says, so my days there probably are numbered. It won't be long before she finds a bloke that does it cheaper. This is the thing, now you know what this customer's like, and you were thinking your price might be £60, or it might be 50, it might be 85, it might be 75, it might be 105. Now you know what this customer's like. Let me know if you would change the price. because I think that as well comes into play quite a lot, where you think to yourself, actually that price, you know, with all the sort of things I've mentioned and all the sort of things what their customers like, maybe it is that you would change your price and think, actually, with all that faff and all that, you know, the fact that she could move it or she could end up dicking me about, no, I'll change the price. Bit of a long one today, guys, but I wanted to get all the facts and all the points across. And as I said, I reckon at some point I'll be saying to you, she's told me to stop coming because she's found somebody else. It's one of them. But like I said, I've got the high ground at this point. I'm doing what she says. I gave her the prices at the start. You know, it is what it is. As I said, we're not trapping, you know, that's it. Some people might say, oh well, £80, you know, but I know if I do it at 60, she'd still moan. She would still be, oh, what a previous quote was £40 for 2 hours. You know, if I did it at 100, she'd do it. If I did it at 40, she'd still do it. And this is the thing. The point of this video is to get across what type people are like. Have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.